Hello and welcome to In the Court of the Wenton Knave. We're doing All This King Crimson. We are past halfway of the 71-72 band. Fantastic band. It's a lot of CDs, a lot of music, which we're so lucky to have all this. I mean, not many bands do this. And obviously, from a reviewing perspective, this is the trickiest bit of the series really, because there's all these albums with all the same songs on. But I think we're doing okay. So yeah, this is part of the Earthbound tapes as well. So there was 4 shows they used for Earthbound. This is one of them, Orlando. Went to February. Peter Simfield is gone. The band have actually split up and they're doing a contractual tour, so they're having a bit more fun because the pressure's off and they're playing fantastically. They're absolutely on fire. There was this, there's Jacksonville, there's Peoria and Delaware. I haven't heard Delaware. I don't know if maybe it's downloadable or not. Peoria is downloadable but it's fragmented. There's a lot of tape stops, sadly. This is a much longer show than Jacksonville, which seemed to be a bridge show, so this is kind of cooler, very similar in intensity and also the sound being distorted and dodgy. I always wondered if the machine was damaged because the previous tour they recorded Detroit, it sounds alright, but it only seems to distort on these recordings. Obviously this was always a controversial King Crimson and they didn't get their due until later after they released all this stuff. The question is, there's a funky blues to the band, partially because the way Boz grounds it with his simple bass parts. It's not about the fact that he can't play bass, and I think that's what people misinterpreted. That's what he likes, it grounds it and gives it this Earthbound feel, And obviously Mel Collins hooked onto that because his sax style is much more of a American style than Ian McDonald. He does the real stuff, which just really suits that stuff. So Fripp is the odd one out. So in a way, did Fripp leave that band? Is that what happened? They formed a band called Snape, I think, with somebody else. So maybe Fripp left, in a way, to form the New King Crimson, and they were a band in that sense. And Fripp was there, but he was the hanger-on. He was the one who was separate in a way. They played fantastically together though. These are all wonderful live albums. So it doesn't matter now, does it? We've just got all this music to listen to. I did say last week, but Fripp said that they're not improvisers. It's a jamming band. Ian Wallace disagreed and said, yeah, it's improvisation, but it's just about definitions, isn't it? It's not like the next band. This is about using established themes and grooving, jamming on it. Whereas the next band, it's a much more frightening prospect of searching and not really knowing where you're going, which is a different thing entirely. It's amazing how consistent this band were in America. I mean, you've had conflicting reports, so there was a lot of partying going on, or maybe not with Fripp, but with the rest of the band. They loosened up and they're enjoying themselves and they're playing really well. I mean, there has been a suggestion that it was a very grueling tour, and it was enforced. They're forced to do it by the management, saying you have to do this. It's a contractual obligation, which may not have been true. And yet they're more consistent than the 72-74 band. They're always on fire. 72-74, very variable shows. One show will be frightening, the most amazing thing you've ever heard. The next show will be all over the place. But maybe that's something to do with the improvisation aspect of it, that it just takes more from you than just having a jam and a fun play. Heavy, intense stuff. It doesn't sound like they were knackered, it has to be said. There are some announcements later on that suggest they were. And we open with Pictures of a City, as you should. The distortion is worse, sadly. The distortion is worse than Jacksonville, which supports my suggestion that the recording equipment was actually damaged in some way. There was something wrong with the mix or something. Something technical was wrong rather than it just being crap equipment. Formentera Lady in the Sailor's Tale, fantastic as always, much like Jacksonville. Cirkus, yeah, it's so heavy, they play it so slowly. I think I prefer Jacksonville for that one. Jacksonville for performance, I think Jacksonville. Sound quality obviously Detroit, but that's okay. We've got Ladies of the Road, same as on the album as I said before. This too is Groon. Slightly shorter, less fun than the Detroit show of Groon. Go for Detroit for Groon, because there's loads of fun stuff going on there. Track 2, 21st Century Schizoid Man. As I said, this is now their version of this song. The driving bass, and it's so heavy, it's just fantastic. And even on Earthbound, when it was judged, the sound quality, etc., it's so good. It's so interesting. So it's not just a repeat of the album version, which sounds so light by comparison. It is fantastic. And actually, maybe the sound quality helps it a bit. It gives it this energy of that relentless forward motion. Track 3 is Earthbound. Earthbound, of course, is actually a jam. So at the end of the set, this is an encore. Maybe they were due to play something else. Maybe they were due to play Mars, and they never did, or I don't know. But yeah, this is the famous thing where the band decided to play a blues jam, and supposedly Fripp didn't join in, except he did at this point, actually. I'll talk about that on the Earthbound album. And then finally, Cadence and Cascade, yet another great version. It's always good with Boz, even if he didn't like it himself. He's great at singing it, I think. See you next week for Earthbound.